All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Hakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the Akim, to the elect that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and faith and sincerity. I'm the brother Shema Allah from the GMS using Camp, and this lesson is going to be entitled "Can't Put New Wine into Old Bottles." And just basically, just going into that, it won't be anything too long. Just kind of just explaining, the parable that Yahweh Shai went into on that, through the spirit. Okay. And I got a couple scriptures lined up. And so let's get straight into it. So this is Luke 5 and start at 36. It says, and he spake also a parable unto them. No man putteth a piece of a new garment upon an old. For otherwise then both the new make a rent, and the piece that was taken out of the new agreeth not with the old. Right? So you got an old piece of clothing. You're not going to take from a new clothing to patch up the old one, right? Because it said that basically they're not. It's not gonna mix, right? It said they're not going to agree with each other. Okay, but he's using this for something deeper than the actual materials that he's talking about, right? He's explaining a point. It says, and no man putteth new wine into old bottles, else the new wine will burst the bottles and be spilled, and the bottles shall perish. It says, but new wine must be put into new bottles, right? And both are preserved. It says, no man also having drunk old wine straightway desired the new, for he said the old is better. Okay, now let's go into something about how wine was made back then, right? And it's just a quick paragraph, nothing too deep, which you can go deeper into it, which I did, a couple days ago before this lesson, right? But this is just something quick to sum it up, right? You can do your own research and go into it. It's online. It's not really hard to come across or to find. Okay, but this is from theologyofwork.org. Right, it says wine and wineskins. It says in the time of Yahushua, wine was often stored in the carefully prepared skins of animals. As the wine fermented, the skins were stretched without breaking. But it was not wise to reuse a wineskin after it was empty, because an old wineskin lost the ability to stretch. New wine required new skins. Okay, so wine, when it was made back then, like it says, it was made in animal skins, and the wine would go through a fermentation process, and to where it's put in these animal skins, and it's designed to stretch with it, to form itself, all right, with the stretching wine. But after a while, after the animal skin, it's going to stretch to a certain point. All right, then it's set. Okay, so now after the wine is used, you shouldn't put new wine back in there. All right, because if you put new wine back in there, the through by way of the fermentation process, it's going to try to stretch that. Okay, and it's going to do it, and it's going to break it. All right, that's why Yahushua said shall bust open and spill. Right, so it wasn't wise to do that. Right, you got to use new wine or new bottles, all right, for that new wine. Okay, so now since we understand that, when you go into wine, right, wine is likened unto, you know, um, philosophies, right, or the truth. Real quick, we can come back to this. I think it's Isaiah 55. Ho, everyone that thirsteth, right? Isaiah 55:1. Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, and the waters represents this truth as well. And he that had no money, come ye buy and eat. Yea, come buy wine and milk without money, without price. So, wine refers to, this truth. Okay. believe it's another precept that goes into this as well. I would lead thee and bring thee to my mother's house who would instruct me. I will cause thee to drink a spiced wine of the juice of my pomegranate. So the wine represents this truth. Okay. In this case, all right. So it says, no man putteth new wine into old bottles. So if it's talking about the truth, what do you think that he was talking about? All right, because when you go up here, they was going into the traditions, and the scribes and the Pharisees was going into, how they thought, and going into things that they were doing in their traditions, because they were heavily into traditions and the law and this and that, right? So they couldn't really accept Yahushua's teachings. All right. So some of them did, but we're dealing with the ones that did not. All right. And he says, and no man put a new wine to old bottles. What do you think he's talking about right here? He's talking about their mindset, right? You can't put this truth, right, you can't give it to someone and without them changing their minds, right? Well, in this case would be, liken into a bottle, right? They have to change their whole mind, right? Change their whole way of thinking to be able to receive this, okay? Because you can't mix it together. That's why when you go up, when it says that no man put a piece of a new garment upon an old, if otherwise, then both the new maketh the rent, and the piece that was taken out of the new agrees not with the old. It's not going to agree. It's going to basically contradict each other, because you can't mix things of of this world, right, with the truth. Or and during this time, you can't mix the knowledge that you came up with in the traditions and the law. You can't mix all of that with what Yahushua had going on, what he was saying, right? Because Yahushua was on something different, which Yahushua wasn't doing away with the law, but the way of salvation had to come through him, and they had to accept that, right? But if you did not have, if you didn't try to, change your mind or change your understanding in the way that you thought, right, which is all of the Lord, of course, ultimately you were going to reject it. And the wine new wine being put in old bottles and it bursts, right? Ultimately, that it rejected it, right? You can't put it in it; it rejected it. So this is what it's saying, right? It says, "No man also ever drunk old wine straight with desire to know, for he said the old is better." So you're gonna have those that just think that they're gonna be set in their ways to where the ways that they did come up in their understanding, they're used to that and comfortable with that, right? They don't want to switch and change, okay, because they already set in their ways. So now saying that, this is Romans 12, and I started one. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world. So don't be with the shape of this world, right? And the shape of this world was what? The old way, the old man. That's how we were, right? That old bottle, right? He said, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So you got to be renewed, right? So that you can take in this truth. Right? You can't be in that old way. You can't be conformed to this world in the ways that this world operates, in the way that this world thinks, right? Or you're not going to be able to accept this truth, or to walk fully in this truth, right? Because it cannot mix. It says that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. All right. So for things to go according to the will of the Most High, for you to be acceptable, right, you have to renew. You got to be renewed. Okay. You go here to John 8:23. Yahushua told these wicked scribes and Pharisees, and he said unto them, ye are from beneath, I am from above. Ye are of this world, I am not of this world. So we are on something different, basically. Yahushua was on a spiritual tip, all right? But they was carnal and into the flesh and things of that nature, right? But he was letting them know that, hey, we're in a different vibration. Okay, so that's why to take in this truth, which is Yahushua, right? You got to be renewed in your mind. Okay, that's why when you go here to John 3:3, Yahushua answered and said unto him, verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of the Most High. So it's basically you're starting all over again. You got to empty out what you knew, right? And to accept this, right? You got to change that old way of thinking, that old mind, the old man, right? And become a new man. So this new wine can be in a new bottle, right? Simple. And born again is talk about being born again in the spirit, like it says in Romans 12, right? Renewing your mind. That's basically what it's going into. 1 Corinthians 3:18, let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool that he may be wise. Okay, so if any man seemeth to be wise in this world, okay, and whether you went to school, you're a scholar, you went to a Bible school, or you just went to church, plain old church, right? Or you got some type of street knowledge and you, whatever, right? A lot of these things got to be let go, right? And a lot of these things, right? I'm not saying you have to let every single thing go, because of course we can use things for certain experiences that we didn't have, we didn't learn from. Brothers come from different environments. They know how to move in particular environments because they came from out of that, or they know how to pinpoint a Jake that's into a certain lifestyle, into this, into that, because they've been through it, right? So it's not saying you just gotta toss out everything like it never happened, but this truth is going to take over you and take over your mindset, right? And you're going to be led by the spirit other than by the flesh. Okay. But it says, any man among you seem to be wise in this world, let him become a fool that he may be wise. So this is emptying out those things that was contrary to this truth, right? Emptying out all of that, right? That you may be wise, that you can receive this new wine. So this is 1 Peter 2:2, 2:1. Wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisies and envies and all evil speaking, which is part of the old man, right? The old bottle, as newborn babes, right? Desire the sincere milk of the word that you may grow thereby. So now you are new. Now you can receive this. Now you can be built up. Now you can stretch and grow and mature in this, right? Without that bottle bursting, because you're a new bottle, right? You renewed your mind. All right. You conform. The scripture about being conformed to the image of Yahushua. So with the shape, let's see, conform. I think that's conform. Let's see, image. Maybe I'm quoting it wrong. Let me see. I think another one could be Ephesians 4. It says, till we all come in, Ephesians 4:13, till we all come in the unity of faith and the knowledge of the Son of the Most High, to a perfect man, unto the measure of stature of the fullness of Yahushua, right? Because we're trying to be conformed to be like him. Okay. He's the great example. Okay. So you got to build that great foundation, and you got to start, from basically nothing. Like I said, everything that was contrary to this truth, right? To be able to receive this and grow in Yahushua. Scripture speak about growing in the Lord. All right. But yeah, man, that's the lesson, just edify to you all. All right. With that, I'm going to say, hey, shalom.